Get ready to drop the puck, take a free throw, and step up to the plate. It's time for the Metro East Sports Podcast on lineupmedia.fm.
From the Lineup Media Studios, welcome to the Metro East Sports Podcast, season number 2, show number 38, recorded Monday, October 25th, 2021. Thanks, as always, to partners, Cassens, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, Callaway Home Loans, Keller Williams Marquee, Jeb and Ginger Blasting Integrity Spine and Joint Center, and Front Office Fiduciary Network. We're talking all things sports in the Metro East. I'm Dave Leip, and as always, the guests make the show here. Guest number 3, I'm going to do it backwards. Normally I start with number 1 and tease it that way, but I'm talking to Wade Devries, guest number 1, about guest number 3. Guest number 3 is Nick Mellentine, EHS assistant. You know him?
Oh, I know Nick really well. Yeah, from Bunker Hill days.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Nick Mellentine, EHS assistant, boys varsity football coach. Guest number 2, Jamie Bridges, Columbia High School boys soccer coach. And I believe he's bringing one of his players whose name I'm not even going to try to say. The kid's first name is Hayes. If he brings that kid, he's going to tell us how to say his last name, which looks like, I'm not going to say it. And guest number 1, Coach Wade DeVries, Roxana Shell's football coach, head coach. Before we get to coach, 3 things you can do to help. Number 1, subscribe to our podcast. It's free and you love it. Number 2, follow us. Please follow us. And recruit a friend to follow us, too. It's not too much to ask. In all of our social media formats, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Number 3, if you have a story idea, email me, please, at mespdave@gmail.com. I promise I'll read it, and I promise I'll respond. Don't forget, Integrity Spine and Joint Center Team of the Month. Could be a park and rec team. Could be a middle school team, a high school team, you name it. Could be Belleville East girls tennis, Muscuda football. To nominate a team of the month, send your suggestion to mespdave@gmail.com and put team of the month in the subject line. Okay, without further ado, Coach Wade DeVries, Roxana Shell's football coach. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
You got the gear on, man. You got the sweet Adidas Shell's gear on.
This is it, man. Nothing but the best.
This is my confession. I think Roxana has, I know I'm going to catch flack on this. I hope I do. I think Roxana has the best school colors.
They're unique. We're very primary there with our red, yellow, and gold. So
I think it's cool that you have blue, 3.
Yeah, it's interesting. You try to piece together uniforms, and you want to make sure you get all 3 colors in, and then we just got new uniforms this year, and it was, I've had uniforms before at other schools that I've ordered, and I think we were purple and white. Well, you can mix purple and white, and it's easy. This was, we had a lot of options. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, I love our colors at Edwardsville, but I'm kind of sick of orange. I don't need any more orange jacket. I got a lot of orange.
Right.
But I feel like with Roxana, you got the blue, you got the red, and you got the gold. You can feature any one of those as your primary color, and then just sprinkle in the other 2.
Oh yeah, you can really mix it up. I think I've got this shirt in 4 colors right now. I think I've got a red, a gold, a blue, and a gray. Yeah, so you can get them all mixed up there. It's nice.
And maybe because Aunt Candy and Aunt Linda went to Roxana, I'm a little more partial to the shell colors. But anyway, you probably didn't expect us to talk about school colors here.
Hey, you know what? At Roxana, it's unique. Like I said, we're the only shells in the state.
I've talked about that. Oh, are you?
Yeah. I just read a story about it, how the name Shells came about. I'm not from Roxana originally, so some of the history stuff I'm still learning along the way, but it's a pretty unique story about kind of how they became the Shells.
Well, isn't it the refinery?
It is, but they were originally the Roxana Rams. But then when they were building, I believe they were building the school back in the, say, 30s.
Cool.
They were $15,000 short. The refinery gave them the $15,000 to finish it, and as a result, they became the Shells instead of the Roxana Rams.
Wow. How cool is that?
That's pretty neat. I just saw this story the other day.
That's really cool.
Like, that's fantastic.
That's cool. I wonder how many people know that.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody assumes that it's related to the refinery.
Well, a lot more now, obviously.
Yeah, there you go, man. You're the man. We've talked colors. We've talked history, mascot names. Let's talk about football.
All right, there we go.
That's why you're here. I mean,
Yes.
you're the head football coach.
Yes.
2-7 this year.
Yep.
You end on a high note, 54-12 over Sparta.
Yep.
How excited are you to win that last game?
The kids needed it. You know what I mean? The kids we've gone through a grind. You know, we went through over that stretch. We went, CM, Columbia, Salem, Freeburg, Breeze Central. Those 5 teams are all playing this weekend.
Yeah.
And so it's, we got in this conference for a reason. It's because we want to compete against the best. And when we are ready to compete at that level, which at 2-7, we're not yet. But we will be. And when we get there to where we're winning those games, we know we can go in the playoffs and win games.
And this was the first year for you guys in this new conference, in this establishment, in this new rearranged Mississippi Valley Conference.
Not Mississippi Valley, Cahokia.
Cahokia, sorry. In this new rearranged Cahokia
yes.
Valley, and with its 3 divisions within football.
Yes, there's 3 divisions. In football, there's really 2. There's a large and a small. The large is the large. So the large is us, Wood River, Columbia, Salem, Freeburg, and Breeze Central.
Got it.
And then the other 2, I believe, Dupo is in, can't remember all the names of the different divisions.
I thought one of them was Mississippi.
There is a Mississippi. That might be ours, actually. I'm not totally sure. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, I had it all on a spreadsheet, and then I knew it all changed, and I haven't updated it since the change. But
yeah, so in football-wise, there's a large and a small. And so the smaller side would be Redbud, Sparta, Trenton, Dupo.
Not Columbia.
Chester. No, Columbia's with us. Right. Yeah, Columbia. We're in the big side with those guys.
Okay. So the other big thing has to be your last game is the one you remember the most, probably in the offseason. So to end on a win, I think, is really good for your psyche, too.
Yeah, no, it's really good for the young kids. Every kid that dressed that game got to play. We had freshmen scoring touchdowns. We had freshmen rushing for 70 yards. And they were able to play in the second half. They played both sides of the ball. They were able to get out there and were able to get film on these freshmen against varsity competition. And no matter what you say, no matter what Sparta's record is compared to any Friday night and Monday night are different. And it doesn't matter who you're playing, where you're playing. Friday night is just different than a Monday night. And to get those freshmen out there and to be able to watch them and coach them and then be able to springboard into the offseason and have the conversation with them and say, this is what we need from you. And look, right here, you almost got to this play, but this ain't Monday night anymore. This is Friday night. And if you want to make that play, we got to get in the weight room. We got to get faster. We got to get stronger. We've got to be able to use the momentum that we have to go into the offseason and understand what it takes.
How soon do you start?
Hopefully, we started collecting equipment today. That's usually a forever process, as coaches know. And I'm thinking we're already in the weight room. So right now we're blessed that we've got the brand new weight training facility there. So we've got 4,500 square feet. I teach early bird PE, and then we've got another exceptional weight room guy. So we have athletic PE for 8 hours a day. So almost all my kids lift, which is great because it allows us to then really promote multi-sport kids. There's no reason for you can't tell me that you're not playing basketball because you want to get big or whatever the old football cliche saying is. No, you're going to lift and you can get big during PE. We're going to sprint, we're going to jump, we're going to lift, and you can go play basketball and you can wrestle and you can go in the spring play other sports. And it allows us to really truly promote that without deep down as a football coach thinking, man, I could really use that dude in the weight room because that's happened before.
I tell you what, I'm really impressed with a lot of the schools, especially the smaller schools, and the organizational level of their athletic PE programs.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we've done a lot from Mascoutah. And Mascoutah, to me, with Josh Lee there, set the bar. And you look at Mascoutah athletics, they're not accidentally winning right now. They're not winning right now because they just happen to have a tremendous, naturally talented group of athletes. It's because they develop these athletes. And now they're starting not even as a freshman, they're starting down in junior high. And that's the next step for us. And we're fortunate at Roxana to where we've got an administration that supports this vision and that recognizes the value of athletics. And you can see that. Look at the facilities. Edwardsville High School, great facilities. It's outstanding. But they don't have back-to-back turf fields sitting next to each other like we do.
Yeah. And you guys have made a major upgrade, too, with your new facility. I know Mark Briggs is super proud of that.
Man, how could you not be? I'm proud of it, and I had nothing to do with it. I'm just a beneficiary. But Mark put so
well, you
much.
teach there, and so you have the right to be proud of it.
I'm beyond proud of it. I can't imagine how Coach Briggs, I mean, he's a pretty selfless guy, but I mean, the work that we were able to get done in 2 years. I mean, we've got the new Jumbotron. We've got the new giant scoreboard. We found the nicest scoreboard in the area and got one better. And then our weight training facility, we ripped out walls, almost $1 million project, 4,000 square foot. You name it, we got it. If we need it, we've got it.
Are kids responding?
The kids love it, man. And not just kids. See, it was always, I think the trend was always, and not just at Roxana, at a lot of schools that I've seen, it's football lifting, and it's kind of a meathead atmosphere. And I think that recently I just got all the numbers and started, because I'm big on data, because I'm a math teacher. I teach 1 hour PE, and then the rest of the day I teach math. So I'm huge on data. I collect data because I want the kids to see. The kids can see that they're improving. They can see, wow, I didn't feel like I did very well. And it's like, well, actually, that's better than, that's your third best broad jump ever. And you're able to show them the data. And I think we've got something around 135, 140 boys in athletic PE and probably 40 to 50 girls right now. And I'd only see those numbers going up because we've got all the kids in the school that want to be a part of this. They want to be able to utilize this facility. And then the next step is that's got to translate over into athletics.
How do you maintain that throughout the summer?
We just continue. So there's no break. Memorial Day, you get off. But we continue with wherever we are in our cycle of training, and we just, we'll take a little bit of time, but usually like a couple days, and then I just open it up.
How do you incorporate nutrition, eating?
I try to do as much as I can. We had in football, I try to do as much as I can with promoting it and teaching it. And actually, like I said, Coach Hellman in the weight room does an unbelievable job of explaining it and teaching it. And I've got a couple ideas for next level stuff that I think that we might be able to incorporate. I got to go now that my season's over. It turns out I got some free time now, and so I've got some ideas on things I think we can do. I think we've got a group of kids coming up, and a group of kids that are already in place that would buy into the nutrition piece, and that's the next level, right? Level 1 to me is getting buy-in. You've got to get kids to buy in, believe in what you're doing, commit to it, and work at it. Yeah. Then once you have that in place, because you can have all the nutrition in the world, but if you ain't lifting weights or sprinting or jumping, then you're not going to get any better. And so to us, being able to now we'll start to, once we built this culture of weight room and what the expectations are in there, now we're able to start getting into the nutrition. And, we do a lot of health and wellness type stuff in there. It's not just athletes in there. It's athletes, non-athletes. We have any piece of cardio equipment. We've got the rowers and 3 different types of bikes. I didn't even know that existed, but turns out it does. There's all treadmills and ellipticals and anything you need. Our training room for our trainer, Leah Bruckner is our trainer, athletic trainer, and she's the best. I've worked with a whole bunch. I've been in a lot of different schools, and she's the best. And so now she has the resources to help her to be the best.
Here's my saying. You're going to hear this right now for the first time, and you're going to take it with you. You can't buy in to the nutrition if you can't buy it.
Right.
And that's the thing that we're all struggling with. It's like, I can tell you to eat healthy, but you know what? You know what eating healthy is? It's expensive.
It's really expensive.
So as schools, we have to learn to work with sponsors,
Yep.
That's why we got to get Quaker Oats on board to give every kid breakfast. Like, I always look at the football guys in my room second hour, and they're eating junk.
Crap.
And I think, man, I wish you just would eat oatmeal.
Right.
And have a banana.
Right.
And drink some water. I would feel much better about your breakfast. Quit eating what you're eating. Don't you think?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think the educating them, but then again, it's making it available. So that's where,
and sometimes it's so expensive.
It is. Now we've got, and I think that at Roxana, the one thing that we obviously have is we've got some resources. We have some resources available that I think we can tap into to make it available. So, hey, you have athletic PE. I teach early bird, so they're in here at 0 hour. We do have early bird PE. We have this available for you. Yeah. And it's, it's top of the line, protein-based nutrition for these kids. They don't need to come into my athletic PE, get a great workout in, and then go eat a package of powdered donuts. It's almost detraining.
Why did you look at me like that?
Because that's what I see every morning.
You looked at me and said powdered donuts, and I saw the way you were looking at me accusatorily. So anyway, all right, not to be a smart aleck, but all right, let's shift gears and go back to your season. 2-7. You're playing a high level of opponent, probably a little higher than the year before. Last time you had a normal football season.
Yeah.
And the toughest loss that you had all year was probably Wood River. Or not, or CM.
The hardest loss to take, those were bad losses. Those were us getting our butts whipped. The hardest loss to take was almost Breeze Central because we were so close to knocking them off.
7 points, 42-35.
Yeah, we thought we had them knocked off, and then
and
they just didn't quite get it done.
So what do
that one hurts. The other two were, what do you say after a game like that? Hey guys, we got our butts whipped
by our crosstown
rivals, and we weren't ready. We weren't ready to play. And all you can do, after the Wood River game, the message is really simple. It's you can lick your wounds all day.
What do you mean you weren't ready? What weren't you ready to do? Hit?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I felt like we matched the emotion early on. It was 6-0 game at half. It was 6-0 at half, and then it was almost a matter of the two teams feeling each other out to see who was going to screw up first. Because we're both, the fact is they're 3-6 and we're 2-7. Going into that game, we're both sitting at 1-6. So we both kind of mirrored each other throughout the year, right? We would play a team really tough, and then something would happen and it would break our back. And unfortunately against them, we were the ones that made the mistake. We fumbled twice early in the third quarter, and they converted both to touchdowns, and you blink and it's 20-0. And then at that point it was over.
So what did you tell your team after that game?
I said we got one opportunity left, and we can sit here and lick our wounds and talk about all the things that we could have done, should have done, things that I could have done better as a coach to prepare you, things you could have done better as a player to prepare, or we can flush this game and get ready to go beat Sparta because our seniors have one game left in their high school career, period, end of story. There is no playoffs. There's nothing else. And the message all year has been, we lost one of our senior captains against Wood River.
Who was it?
Connor House. So he was a senior guard, middle linebacker, great kid. He's been starting, I don't know that he started as a freshman, but at least a 3-year starter for us. And I told him, I said, look at Connor. I said, you don't know when it's going to be your last game. So all we can do is prepare for Sparta because juniors, that might be your last game. Sophomores, you don't know. You don't know when your last game is going to happen. Connor sure as heck didn't think it was going to be against Wood River. He thought he had one more high school football game left, and he didn't. And so that was kind of the message was we got to flush this game. We can reevaluate what went wrong in the offseason. But now's not the time. Right now is the time to go out there, prepare to beat Sparta, and to send these seniors off as winners. Because in my 3 years there, I've never won the last game. Even the year we went to the playoffs, we went and played Columbia and just got smacked. So this is the first time that our seniors have gone out winners, and they got to go out feeling that way.
54-12 over the Bulldogs of Sparta. And again, looking at your stat line, you got Evan Wells, sophomore, 15 for 111 yards. 3 touchdowns. All your quote unquote skill positions.
Yep.
Those not one senior in the bunch.
No. Every senior we had in the program was on the line.
Okay.
So every senior, we had Connor played guard, middle linebacker. Everybody else was D-line and then either an O-line starter or an O-line backup kid.
If you have to replace one or the other nearly entirely, what would you rather replace, your line or your skill position kids?
It depends on who I got coming back.
Yeah.
It depends on what you got underneath.
You don't really get to pick either.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's just like I think that, soon enough it's going to be, hey, all these skill kids that have been there for 3 years are gone, but your O-line's back. And so it kind of goes, it's 6 in one, half a dozen in the other, I think. But what we've got is we've got some kids coming up that they're big, they're hungry, and they're mean. We've got some kids coming up that are mean right now.
And you need that in football.
Well, we're, the only school in the history of the world that still goes under center and runs the football at you. And that's what allowed us to, we hit Breeze Central right in the mouth. And that was, I think we shocked them a little bit. And
is that your brand of football?
Oh yeah, we're under center, we're wing T. I finally by week 4 got away from double tight and I did split out a receiver. But
why is that?
Because I think it's hard to prepare for. I think you see spread every week. And I think, and I don't, that's not what I do. And I've never done it. I've always been under center. I've always been wing T. It's what I believe in. And I believe it's all about, it's a system where you have answers. I think that, and not to say that other systems don't have answers, but this is the system where I have the answers. So I know if we're getting hurt here, this is how I react. And then my job is to make sure that my players know what the answer is. Hey, if we get this, this is where we're going to go. If we get this, this is where we're going to go. And it's a little bit more of a chess match, I think, than, spread the field in 5 wide and I'm going to flick the ball out to this dude that's really, really fast and hope to God he's faster than your guy. Because I can tell you in the Cahokia Conference, my guys aren't faster than them. I don't have dudes that run like the kids from Breeze and Salem and Freeburg and Columbia. Our kids are comparable to Wood Rivers, who really runs the same brand of offense as us. They're just out of the gun. I like under center. I think that it's different. So it's something totally different for them to prepare for in a short period of time. You look at someone like Paul Johnson at Georgia Tech. He had a ton of success in the ACC, high level football, because all week, every week, you prepare for, okay, is it gap scheme or zone scheme, whatever, but it's some variation of spread, RPO, bubble, screen, vertical passing game, and then you go there and you're preparing for triple option. Now it's assignment-based, and guess what? These teams that are playing 145-pound linebackers because all they got to do is run around, well, now we're able to throw 1 or 2 or soon-to-be 3 200-pound running backs at them, and eventually they get tired of tackling those kids, I think. And it's different. It's unique, and that's what I love about it.
You know what I think? I think if you win, it's the greatest thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe Bag of Donuts at the coffee shop down there at the end of 9th Street.
Yep.
He's gonna love it.
Yeah.
But if you lose,
they don't love it then, trust me.
Then you're gonna hear about it.
Oh, yeah.
Are people calling you out on it and saying, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Oh, yeah. Well, not to me. Usually to my poor assistant coaches. God bless those guys. Nobody says anything to me. I don't get it. I feel like I'm super friendly and very approachable, and yet no one wants to talk to me. They just want to talk to my assistants about it.
I want to talk to you.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I think it's been great having you here.
Yeah.
What do we have to look forward to next year for the Shells?
I think that we got a group of kids that are ready to compete. I think that I had a long conversation with one of my juniors today, actually, at Equipment Turn-In, and we were able to talk about stuff like, the conference was, I've never played in this conference. I've coached against Columbia one time in my life, and that was one of the better Columbia teams that I've ever seen, or one of the better 4A teams. They were unbelievable. Mm-hmm. But we were able to see what it's going to take to win week in and week out, because the schedule's not getting easier. Next year we're still going to go CM, Columbia, Salem, Freeburg, Breeze, Wood River, except now there's no Sparta at the end. Now we're playing Marquette week 9. And so there's another rivalry game in there. And so I think the rivalry games are interesting to me because I've got to do a better job of preparing our kids to understand the significance and understand what it means. I'm from Mount Olive, and we never had a rival. And so I've never played in one. I've never experienced one. But I've got some ideas here. I think that we'll be ready to go next year.
I think your kids understand it. I think they'll get it. And I'm looking forward to watching the Shells next year. I think you're going to turn 2-7 around.
I appreciate that.
You got a bunch of kids coming back, and like you said, you got some mean dogs coming up.
Yeah, they'll be all right.
I'm looking forward. Wade Devries, Roxana Shells football. Thanks so much for coming by.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah.